There's no denying that the coronavirus pandemic has had a damaging impact on the entire globe. In the United States of America, more than 20,000 African Americans, about 1 in 2,000, the entire black population in the nation, have died from this disease. It's essential that we are informed about ways to stay ready and keep healthy in our communities. We have assembled experts in the medical field to give us advice and direction. This is A Race to Action, and I am your host, Stevie Mack. Hi, good morning, everyone. Welcome to another edition of our podcast where we're taking it to medical practitioners in the African American community and finding ways not just to be reactionary or reactive, but how to be proactive. Today, our guest is none other than Dr. Michelle Reed of fitdoc.com. How are you doing, Dr. Reed?
I'm feeling great. How are you doing?
I'm great. I'm excited to converse with you today. So I know before the taping, I had some conversations with you. Can you give the audience just a background before we get into a breakdown of how they can be helped?
All right. So I am a board certified family physician. I've had my own practice with 2 locations, Rosedale, Queens, and Garden City, Long Island, for the past 18 years. And I really am big into prevention. I really feel that a lot of the diseases that we have, we can decrease our risk by doing certain things. We all know what we're supposed to do, but my job as a physician is to lead you in that. So out of my whole practice came FitDoc. And FitDoc is the persona that I use to encourage people to stay motivated mentally, physically, sexually, spiritually, in all aspects of your life, because if one of those aspects is off, it affects the whole body. So as a COVID-19 survivor who's still going through recovery, I realize the importance of making sure that you do truly not abuse your body. And I know for a fact, and even my doctors told me that, and even some of the specialists that I go to, they've told me the same thing. The fact that I was exercising and taking care of my body before COVID, it's almost like I was preparing for COVID, not knowing this is what was going to happen. That is what truly helped me and so many of my other patients out there, and family and friends, who are living healthier lifestyles. So that is my big motivation, is to get people to be healthier and to stay healthier and want to be healthy.
That's awesome, Doc. So not only are you someone who's just, quote unquote, to use street vernacular, talking the talk, but you're walking the walk, right?
So that's right. And when you, wait a second. And when you say walk that walk, I mean, that means if I say, okay, you know what, I'm training for a marathon because I've done 3 marathons, New York City twice, Chicago once. You know what? Guess what? I'm not going to ask you to maybe run the marathon, but it would be nice if you came and made a sign or showed your support. So for the past, and we were kind of disappointed this year, but we understood. For the past about 6-7 years, we participate. When I say we, I'm talking about my practice, MS Family Medicine, in the JFK Run on the Runway that's sponsored by the JFK Rotary Club. And they shut down one of the runways, JFK Airport, and you do 3.1 miles, which is a 5K. You don't even have to run it. You can walk the entire time. And I tell my patients, this is probably the safest way to go to the airport without even boarding a plane. Because guess what? You get on that runway, you start moving. Other people are out there. You get caught up in the energy. And before you know it, that walk goes into a little jog, and the jog goes into a run, and you run right across the finish line.
Love
so I'm going to make sure you get invited next year.
I did it. I'll do it, Doc. I don't want to just talk it. I want to practice as well. So, Doc, I heard that you really bounced back. You had COVID-19, right? And what you said is that you were already taking care of your temple, as some people would say, in the spiritual realm, and also a holistic practice, right? I heard you mention, like, yeah, it's not just about health, but it's this and this as well, right? What were some of the things you were doing before COVID-19 even hit the scene? What were some things you were doing in your own personal life that might benefit our listeners out there?
Okay, so for me, 80% of your health is what you eat. So what you eat, when you eat, how much you eat. So I always made sure that I always ate breakfast. I eat healthy foods. I try not to eat anything that is not processed. If I don't recognize the name that's on the back of the container, I'm not going to buy it. By the same standpoint is you have to also listen to how your body feels and reacts when you have certain foods. So I noticed that originally I could have dairy products, but then I couldn't have dairy products anymore. The same thing happened to beef. So I had to cut out beef, and eventually with chicken and turkey. So now I'm basically a pescatarian, so straight fish. But every now and then I can't resist bacon. Everyone has their cheat snack or cheat meal. So mine might be bacon or a little pork chop. But the thing is, one is your nutrition. The other thing is sleep. Sleep is your body's time to just slow down, relax. We hear about homeostasis, which is balance. Mm-hmm. That 7-8 hours as an adult is needed by us.
Gotcha.
We're not going to go drive our car from New York all the way to California without stopping. No, your car needs to take a break. It needs to stop to get gas. You have to make sure that your oil's changed and if that's okay for the road. Because if it doesn't, if those things are out of balance, your car is going to break down. The same thing was with your body. Your body needs rest. It needs food. And the other thing I like to say is, because the name of my book is Mentally Fit, Physically Strong.
Oh. You got to talk about that. Okay.
Yeah, so the name of the book is Mentally Fit, Physically Strong, The Fit Doc's Guide. And one of the things that I talk about in the book is how do you start your day? Do you start your day just getting up and reaching for your phone? Or do you start your day and meditate and give thanks to whatever higher being that you believe in before you start your day? Because that sets the tone of everything that you have to do throughout your day. For me as a Christian, I pray, I meditate, and then figure out what my day is going to look like or what I want it to look like. And then I go about whatever I have to do. So those are a couple of tips.
No, there's a couple. Yeah, I said she gave me a lot of gems right there. You said something that it was so many and it was layered that I want to kind of probably go reverse engineer question, if you will. So you talked about the start of your day, right? And people do gravitate towards the phone, and they do. I'm guilty of it, right? I don't know if people open up with meditation and prayer, and that's something that is highly recommended. What about, they say New York is the city that never sleeps. What do you say to those people who really have a hard time going to sleep? Why there's the noise pollution. Right now there's a lot of fireworks going on. I mean, other things like gunshots, whatever the case may be. It's New York, it's a busy city, right? So it's not always negative, but it's busy. What would you say to those people who you would say, you know what, take it easy and go to bed? How can I get my full 8 hours of sleep if recommended?
So one thing that I encourage people to do is to remove the television from your bedroom. Because if you lay in bed and you leave your TV on, your mind never gets a chance to relax. So even if you do finally fall asleep, you can still sometimes recall the next morning what you heard on TV.
Gotcha.
Because subconsciously, your mind is still picking up the sounds that are going on throughout the house and even in your bedroom. So that's number one. Number two is, unless you're on call like me, shut down your phone.
Gotcha.
Because if your boss is sending you an email or you sending your employees an email or a text at 1 a.m. and you're expecting them to reply to it, or you as the employee, you're replying to it, that means that there are no clear boundaries.
Right.
I might as well just move into your house with you because I can have easy access. Respect your house. That is your time to shut down, to relax. Yes, there are a lot of people that are having problems sleeping. I'm even seeing anxiety and depression going along with the insomnia because we've had COVID-19 going on. And the fact that COVID-19 happened, the disease itself isolates you.
Yeah.
So here I was in my house with my family, and I was completely isolated.
Wow.
I couldn't even walk in the hall the same time they were because we did not want anyone else in my family to get stricken the way I was.
Sure.
So that's isolation from there. So what happens when we're isolated? Just what you talked about. we turn to TV, we're listening to the radio, we're watching our cell phone, we're on Instagram, Facebook. And what do we see? We see all of the different social injustices that are coming out to a head, because already with COVID, we had decreased testing sites, especially in our black and brown communities. And then we're showing up at the ER or urgent care and they're not testing us. And then when they do finally set up sites for us to get tested, some of them were drive-through. Yeah. Some of us don't have access to cars.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's going on. Then you're seeing the police brutality, because not all police officers are bad. The majority of them are good. But we're seeing what happens, what the bad ones are doing. So anxiety, depression, problem sleeping already, and throw on the fact that now we are glued to our TV 24 hours and we're seeing this.
Right.
That's more stress.
Yeah.
So you do have to get to a point where you shut it down. And people are like, oh, how do I get 7-8 hours of sleep? You know how you do it? If right now, maybe you're supposed to be in bed at 10, but you're going to bed at 12. So tonight, instead of going to bed at 12, set your alarm to go off at 11:45. 11:45, I'm going to go to bed. Maybe 2-3 days later, from 11:45, you bring it down to 11:30. Small increments will make a big difference. And if you want to be really aggressive, then you can shut it down even more. Do half an hour at a time instead. But you have to work out on a schedule that's going to be good for you.
Gotcha.
But everything needs to be shut down. There's no reason in the world to have all your electronics going on at night when that is supposed to be your sanctuary, your place to sleep. So that's how you end the day. But by the same token, what are we having for dinner? What time are we having for dinner? So technically, we have to allow for digestion to happen. So we should have our last meal at least 3 hours before we go to bed.
Gotcha.
Allow 3 hours for your body to digest.
Gotcha. Gotcha, Doc.
Okay. And then up to you. Do you want to exercise in the morning as you start your day to get the endorphins going? Or do you need to exercise at night to release all the tension and the frustration and the anxiety that you have from the day?
Wow.
Figure out which type of person you are. I mean, because sometimes I could do it in the morning. Sometimes I'd rather exercise in the evening.
Right. Right. Well, that's great, Doc. Now I heard you have a book. It's so fitdoc.com. Let's say
FITDOC.com. FitDoc.
Right. We're going to put it right there. I love the backdrop as well. What would they find? What would visitors find to your website, if I may ask?
Well, you will find information about my book. You'll find out more information about me. And at the same time, we all like to look good. So I do have a lot of apparel there where you can buy a hat, a mug, a t-shirt, a sweatshirt. But the most part is that we are about helping you to develop a healthier journey. I'm in the process of developing my signature Fit Doc program because I have the book out. The book sort of outlays everything for people, but sometimes you need a little bit more. So now I'm working on my program that people can actually follow, because everyone's like, how do you do everything you do? Because you're a mom, you're a wife, you have a business. I'm a school district physician for 3 schools.
Wow.
So how do you do everything?
Right.
And the way I see it, and I still exercise, you take and make the time for whatever you consider to be important.
Gotcha.
And I think I'm just as important as everybody else in the world. So I have to take care of myself before I can go out, take care of my family as I step out of my bedroom, step outside of my house, my community, go into my office, my patients. But I have to be happy, healthy, and whole first before I can serve anybody else. Because your body truly is the temple. You said it yourself.
Yeah, totally agree. Totally agree. So this is really encouraging and a lot of great stuff. Doc.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to do that 5K, right?
Oh, well, baby steps, right? Baby steps. But
you know what? But I'd like to say, like right now, especially in New York, things are starting to open up.
Yes.
So Long Island is a little ahead of the schedule than the city, but a lot of people are still a little leery about going to gyms once they open up.
Yeah.
But the beauty of living at your own space, be it a house or apartment, is that you have a space that
Gotcha.
you can dedicate to doing exercise. I like to tell my patients, you have cell phones, and on your cell phones, you have YouTube, you have Instagram. There are so many personal trainers out there who have programs online that you can follow.
Right.
You can even make up your own exercise program.
Right.
For me, I have the Fit Doc Wellness group on Facebook. And what I did was, last month was my birthday month. So after going through COVID, still with my heart rate going up every now and then, still with sometimes problems breathing, I've pushed myself to make sure that I maintain a certain level of activity. So for May, I said, you know what? I want everybody to get out there and move at least 1 mile every day. And that could be walking, running, dancing, riding your bike, gardening. I don't care. But keep track so you can log in at least 1 mile. Nice. We did that. There were people who had never done any exercise. Now they're doing like 3.1 miles. So that's a 5K. So for June, what we decided, you know what? Let's take it up a notch. Still do that 1 mile of movement every day.
Right.
But now let's incorporate some work on our core. So I partnered with Master Michael Wyans, who is really big into martial arts. Yeah, and we've done videos, 3 different types of videos that are, and I do the modified version of everything. He does the advanced, which is probably good because I don't like Zumba. I'm a little, uncoordinated, but I did the modified version.
Wow.
And for 3 weeks, we've been doing different exercise. But the thing is like, we have to figure out ways to engage people. And everybody, you throw up a picture, they might look at the picture, they might not look at the picture, but you put up a video, people will sit there and watch the video. So now I have your attention, you're going to watch the video, and maybe eventually after you keep watching it, you're like, you know what? I need to get a stronger core. And the core is not just your abs, it's your abdomen, it's your lower back, it's your buttock, it's your legs, it's how you sit, how you stand, how you walk, how you run, how you ride a bicycle. Your body needs its core.
Yeah.
So let's work to strengthen that. And that's our challenge for June. And we're getting ready to start July pretty soon.
Wow.
But the thing is just to actually get out there and move. And I invite everyone to follow me on Facebook, Fit Doc Michelle Reed. And then if you want to up the ante, Fit Doc Wellness Group. That has a little over 1,000. The big page is the Fit Doc Michelle Reed that has over 10,000. But the wellness group, the Fit Doc Wellness Group, those are people who, you know what? I want to do something a little different. I need to have some accountability partners. So they're posting what they're doing. They're encouraging each other. People are finding new people to exercise with, new places to explore for exercise. Some people even sharing recipes. I'm waiting for some good smoothie recipes still. Right. But the thing is, we need a place where like-minded people can work together because we're in isolation right now, but that doesn't mean that we need to isolate our body and not take care of it.
I like that, Doc. So, Doc.
Now, if I hear you repeat my lines, I know what happened.
You know where I'm starting from. I give credit the first 2 times, then I just take it. No, but brilliant lines, brilliant gems. We're definitely going to encourage everyone to check out all those particular groups and places where they can see you and support you and really, like you say, ultimately support themselves because you came out of the storm, quote unquote, so to speak, with COVID-19. Dr. Reed, is there any parting words or gems you could say to brothers and sisters in the community? Because there's rumors, I hope it's not true, that there may be a second wave, right, going on. Yeah, we don't really know what's really happening. What are some recommendations we can do besides all the great tips you already gave us?
Well, you know what? I don't want us to think that because we're going back to work and going back to different aspects of our life that we're out of the woods. We're not out of the woods. COVID-19 is still there. And if you're looking at throughout the country, we have over 14 states from Arizona, Texas, Florida, Alabama, that have increased levels of COVID-19. And that's diagnosis and that's treatment. Because guess what? We opened up. And when we open up, people feel that everything is all right. We're going back to normal. No, I mean, this is life. Life is always full of changes. We've never had a normal life.
Yeah.
Okay. But life is always full of changes. You have to adapt to what is going on. So one of the adaptations I need is that people need to wear their mask. COVID-19 is out there. It is real. It is so real. I've had patients that have died from it. I've had friends that have died from it. It's real.
Yeah.
And I don't want anyone to go through what I went through, what my family went through, what even some of my staff went through. But the simple thing that you can do is just wear your mask. Because if you have anything, you don't need to give it to anybody else. That needs to be the mentality that you have. And if people laugh at you or tease you because you're wearing a mask, that's on them. People will laugh and tease any and everybody.
Right.
Doesn't make you any more special.
Right.
As far as social distancing, respect other people's space. So if I'm not wearing a mask and you're like 2 feet away from me and I start talking and we have a heated exchange, droplets are going to come out of my mouth.
Yeah.
In the droplets is, guess what? COVID-19.
Yeah.
So the big droplets, because if I'm like really hot and heavy and that saliva is coming out because we all spit occasionally,
Yeah.
the big droplets are going to drop right in front of us. But the smaller ones are going to go out in the air. And you're 2-3 feet next to me. And if I have COVID-19 and I am quote unquote asymptomatic, I'm walking around with the symptoms, but I have no idea that I have the symptoms, you're going to get it. So these droplets can spread anywhere up to 22, 23 feet. And especially if we're in a closed environment. So one of the things people are even asking me, well, do you think once the gym opens, it's safe for me to go to the gym? For me, the outside world is my gym. As long as the weather is nice, it is not snowing heavy, it is not raining hard, go outside to the gym. Figure out what exercise you can do. The five and below store, they sell everything. They sell kettlebells, they sell mats. They might not be like the highest quality, but guess what? It's better to start with something that's low quality as to have no quality and have nothing.
Yeah.
So rethink your workout and where you work out. Protect yourself, because I don't know if I could really feel comfortable myself going into a gym, knowing that COVID-19 is still around.
Yeah.
I know what I do. I know what the people in my house do and who they're around. But why would I subject my body, my temple, to be around people that I have no idea what they're coming in contact and what they're doing?
Wow. You said another saying, I'm a stale. It's better to have low quality than no quality. So Dr. you got a lot of gems. We thank you.
Thank you.
Taking the time, sharing your knowledge, your testimony, as well as giving us some tips for the road. We thank you. I know I appreciate you, and I'm sure all the visitors, viewers, and listeners, see, I was trying to make a word, definitely enjoy this podcast. Thank you so much, Dr. Reed.
Oh, no problem. And just don't forget that even though I have the locations in Rosedale, Queens, and in Garden City, Long Island, which are right near the two places that were epicenters. Hempstead was the epicenter for Nassau County, and Rosedale, Queens was one of the epicenters, Southeast Queens.
Yeah.
We need to make sure that we find a doctor. My office is open, MS Family Medicine. If you can't make it into the office, we do telemedicine. So the website for the practice is msfamilyhealthcare.com. That's msfamilyhealthcare.com. You can come and see us in the office, either one, or you can see us on the computer. That's the beauty of technology. So use technology to work for you.
That's right. That's right. That's right. Dr. Reed, thank you so much. We really appreciate it.
No problem. Thank you. Thank you for the invitation.
Please. All right. Tune in for our next podcast. We'll be concluding from all these expert practitioners on how to survive and stay healthy. Till next time. Thank you.